Okay, so the fly that we're going to tie today is called a Black Beauty. It can certainly be tied in whatever color you want, but it's a great fly for beginners because it doesn't require a whole lot, certainly doesn't require a lot of different materials, and it reinforces some basic techniques that you need to have in order to become a good fly tyer. So, this is the final product, but let's get another hook and a vise and show you how to do this. I've already pinched the barb on this hook, and that's pretty important. I do that for all of my hooks. They come out of the fish a lot easier, and they also come out of the fisherman a lot easier, which sometimes is even more important. So I've got the hook and the vise, and I'm going to get the thread started. And for my thread, I'm using black 6/0 Danville. And the reason I'm doing that is because Danville thread will flatten out, and that'll become kind of important later on. So I start my thread on the hook, wrap back over it, come to about the midpoint of the hook, and trim away the waste. And now I'm going to continue wrapping to the back edge of the hook, right to where the bend begins, and then work my way back up again with touching turns. I want to completely cover the shank of the hook with thread so that we don't have any of the hook showing through. And then when I get back to just behind about a hook eye length behind the hook, behind the eye, I'm going to put some wire in, and I'm using brassy sized copper wire. And for this, I'm going to lay the wire alongside of the hook and try to capture it right there and keep it on the side of the hook. We don't want the wire to roll around to the other side. We want to keep it in that position so that we can create a nice smooth body. And again, I'm taking touching turns with my thread, which covers up the entire length of the wire. When I get to the back edge of the hook, I'm going to give my bobbin a counterclockwise spin. And what that'll do is flatten out the thread a little so that I can come back to the front of the hook, making touching turns again, and have a very smooth looking body. When I get back up to where I started the thread, just let it hang. And now I'm going to take my wire and make evenly spaced wraps up the hook shank, just passing it from one hand to the other as I go. We want to get them as evenly spaced as possible. Now, when you get to the front of the hook, lift up the wire and come in with your other hand and take a couple of wraps around the hook. Trying to be careful not whap the camera as I go. And now just helicopter your wire until it breaks off. That keeps you from having to deal with a nasty part of the wire sticking out the front. Now I'm reaching for some superfine dubbing, very, very small amount. If you can see, I've just got a wisp in my fingertips. Beginners usually want to use a lot more than is necessary. And I'm pulling that out, and I'm just going to take that and spin it onto the thread. Nice and tight. This takes a little getting used to when you first start out, but if you can see, I don't have very much on there at all. And now I'm going to wrap that, creating a little bit of a head. Nice and even. And then bring my thread to right in front of the head that I've created. And now come in with my whip finish tool. Take a 3 or 4 turn whip finish. Maybe one more, just to be safe. And then come in. And there it is. There is a Black Beauty. And as I said, this can be tied in a number of different colors and sizes or combinations, whatever you like. But it's a good fly to get started with because it teaches you some thread control and work with the wire a little bit to try to get those nice even wraps that we have on there. And the only thing I would say is I hear a lot of fly tiers when they're talking about ribbing a fly, and they say take 4 or 5 wraps, and my point is no, take 4 or take 5. Do it the same way every time. That way you'll stay consistent. So there you have it. I'm happy to have spoken with you today. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you again soon.